Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Tuesday's Talk with Grada. I'm so happy we made it through another week. And today I want to unpack the subject of trauma a little bit together with you. So for those of you who are listening to me for the first time, my name is Grada Robertson. I'm the co-founder of the Purple House Wellness Center in Forth in Tasmania, and also the author of 3 books. You Were the Miracle, How Being Hit by a Truck Saved My Life, because this is the story of how I was literally hit by a truck in 2006 and made a miraculous recovery. And then the second book is called The Underbelly, in which I share the story or describe the story of a period of mental illness and PTSD and other things that were happening. And then my third book is called Alchemy of Love, and this gives you a behind-the-scene story of my life, like running the cafe, Alchemy Cafe, the Purple House Wellness Center. At the time, the children, some of them were still at home, as well as stories of my clients and our grandchildren. And so that finishes on a happier note, right? So I work these days, I pretty much work as what I would call an energy medicine consultant. And I like to use the word consultant because energy medicine is, has proven itself to be totally effective, especially if you've studied it and done it for as many years as I have, which is like now bordering on to 3 decades nearly, or 2.5 decades anyway. It's how I healed myself from terrific trauma after I was being hit by a truck, and also from mental illness, and this is how I help my clients the most. So I think it's fair to say that everyone has a level of trauma in their bodies, like this is part of our human experience. When we come into the body to be human, we already inherit trauma from our ancestors. Sometimes that trauma is already up and running by the time we're born. So this is when you see babies crying, or babies with allergies, or sick babies, or babies that are handicapped. And so their life is very difficult right from the start. But other times trauma is activated through things that happen to us, like traumatic experiences in our childhood, eating the wrong food, toxins around us can reactivate trauma, and so on. So I was hit by a truck in the year 2006, which left me on the road with catastrophic injuries, like I should have died really. And then I was also treated really bad by the truck driver, who just ran into me and basically left me lying on the road to die, and never apologized. He had a very, very bad attitude. But at the time, I already realized this wouldn't have happened to me if I didn't have active trauma signaling out to the universe to attract that into my life. Because ultimately, we come into the world as creators, and we're sending out a signal, and then we receive the response to that signal. But the signal is more than our thoughts, like people teach you that to have positive thoughts and to whatever sanitize your thinking or feeling even. But what creates the signal is it's the sum total of our thinking, our feeling, our emotions, and everything else that's happening below our consciousness, which is like 99% of us is actually below our consciousness. And that can really only be found during healing sessions, in my opinion, or if you are really good at meditating and you have a lot of clarity inside your own body, right? So this is why we need to help each other, why we need healers in the world and consultants who can help find these traumas before they manifest as a tragedy in your life. I mean, I'm not saying that we can always avert tragedy. Sometimes it's part, perhaps, of our soul mission. In my case, I've described it all in my books. I do know that my mom had a hunchback, so she and my her grandfather had a hunchback, and she had an uncle with a hunchback as well. So her skeleton was completely deformed. And after I finished having all my operations, after the accident, and I survived, I needed a lot of operations on my back as well. I actually ended up with the same scarring in exactly the same places as my mom's body. So, I mean, that's pretty obvious. And I see this all the time in my work. Like, if you have issues with scarcity, or let's say issues in your love life, that you're always lonely, you never find the right love, you don't get treated well, we have to look in your ancestry. Because, you know, even yesterday I was working with a woman, and we were working on her persistent issues of not trusting in love. And so her worst fear was ending up all alone and destitute and broke. And so during the session, what came up was that one of her grandfathers had actually been orphaned at very, very young and put out on the street. He had to fend for himself. I think he might have been 10 or something. Terrible hardship. So that memory, trauma memory, wasn't healed by her grandfather because he couldn't, because he had to survive. It wasn't healed by her father, and now she was grappling with it in her 40s. So during a trauma healing session, we deal with the issues in your tissues. We don't just talk about trauma, right? Because trauma isn't, you can't just scoop it out of your brain and it's gone. If we could think our way out of trauma, life would be amazing, but we simply can't do that. Because at the time of a trauma, let's say you experience a physical injury, right? You lose your finger or something like that. I'll just make it very clear. What happens is the body goes into such massive shock that it literally goes into your instinctual self, your instincts, your survival instincts are switched on. So it bypasses your normal brain, it bypasses the normal neurology, the everyday neurology, and it goes into your instinctual self that keeps you alive. It takes over. Well, that instinctual self then bleeds into your soul life, your spiritual life, your physical life, your emotional life. What else do we have? Your mental life. All aspects. It depends where it finds, you know, it takes the way of least resistance. So if you're not very stable emotionally, it'll start to show up in your emotional life, and so you might ruin all your good relationships and be very irritable or intolerant. But if it's to do with like your finances or scarcity, suddenly your money will dry up. So I see trauma as the one big block that blocks your success in doesn't matter which area of your life, including business as well. And I've seen it many times when I've worked with entrepreneurs or business people, and we clear a trauma. When we clear one trauma, by the way, you have to see it as a huge network of bundles of negative emotions, thoughts, feelings, and belief systems, limiting beliefs, that all just clears out, and then the body can feel itself with a sense of well-being, like life force that's promoting life, and the whole external world starts to change as well. So in the case of finances or businesses, the owner might get a really great business idea or get a new client, and so positive changes flow in. So the thing with trauma is that people say, to others who are suffering from trauma, just get over it. Or they'll say, every cloud has a silver lining, or just see the glass as half full rather than half empty, or just think of all the good things that have happened to you since you lost your partner or whatever. You know, we too easily dismiss the pain and the trauma. So what happens is the trauma goes even deeper, and now it's really buried itself into the crevices of your subconscious mind, where it's really, really hard to dig out. Sorry, I can't even say the words. And so the trauma literally becomes part of your chemistry. That means it starts to dictate your thinking, it clouds your view of life, it gets in between you and your relationships. It's because it's embedded into the computer system. And so I want you to know that if you have trauma in your body and it's like too much, like your trauma bucket is full, because as humans we have incredible capacity, by the way, to hold trauma in a body. But if your trauma buckets are overflowing, you can't be easygoing, you can't be even thriving or in abundance, because it's the opposite energy. Trauma energy is the opposite energy to the energy of abundance, prosperity, peace and harmony. All of that goes out the door. And maybe when you're listening to me, you can actually think of some people in your life who are like that. They're always triggered, or maybe they're always living in resistance. It's as if they're resisting something. They're difficult to be around, and the truth is that they are resisting something, because they're resisting their own trauma from coming up, because they're scared that the dam will burst, and goodness knows what will happen then. So when I work with clients, I always work from the feet up, right? If people are in my room, I will start at the feet, because trauma literally pushes us out of our body, and our energy centers around here, so like at the top of the head and out the front. And it's like we're always chasing after that. If you think of life, you're chasing something that's out here, don't you? And that creates more anxiety and fear in your body. So when clients come to me, I see that their energy is often sometimes pulled up. Their aura could be as high as their knees, right? So the nice protective bubble that surrounds us to protect us is pulled up around the knees, and so they're in this huge anxiety bubble. So usually I work very, very gently. I never re-traumatize my clients, and I can clear all of that big layers of a huge amount, truckloads literally, of trauma in each session. And Peter does the same, by the way. This is how we've helped each other. That's how I had to get myself better, of course. So if you are experiencing trauma in your life right now, you have to look for the root cause, either in your childhood up until you're 8 years old, or before, right? Can even be around conception, in the womb, up until you're 8, or like I said, your ancestors. I have many clients, and the story of the ancestors comes out, which I always find fascinating. And if it's not healed, that can create all sorts of challenges, like hormonal, digestive, skin issues, mental issues, because the body can usually handle the chat till you're about 30 or 40, and then the wheels come off the cart. Cardiovascular issues, like heart issues. So the good news is all this stuff can be dealt with very gently and effectively by Peter and me. And also, if you look at some of if you go back and at the Grada Robertson website, you'll see all my videos that I do weekly, which I teach people about the human experience, who they are, how their bodies work. Because if pain is not acknowledged in trauma, it's also not going to heal. So we do have to acknowledge that some harm was done, that you're hurting, and stop pushing it aside, stop resisting it, and feel into it. So I want to teach you some tricks right now that will help you feel easier in your body. So people who've been traumatized, they often have difficulty staying inside their body. They're always busy on the outside because it feels too uncomfortable to be inside the body. So one really important thing you can do is cross your hands like this and rest, like the arms, they're like this now, rest them on your heart center. And so this will immediately change your chemistry and get you out of fight and flight, and introduce some new calming hormones into your system. So by crossing the arms, it gets the left and the right brain to talk to each other. Because when you're stressed, the left and right brain don't talk to each other. You usually just, all the energy will go into one side of your brain. If you're a left brain thinker, you'll start to focus, you get all about all the details in life. And if you're a right brain thinker, you might be just too general or too ungrounded. So the left and the right brain need to learn to become friends again. They can close your eyes and take 5 breaths in through the mouth and out through the nose. So this is a breath that you can do to regulate your nervous system. So normally people say breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. When you have a lot of trauma in your body, just breathe in through the mouth and out through your nose. If you're very angry, this will dissipate the anger, and fear and anger are connected. So breathe in through your mouth, out through your nose, in through your mouth, out through your nose. Just think of a bull, how a bull, if a bull feels threatened, it will trample the ground and it blows air out through the nose. Anyway, if you do too much, you start to feel so relaxed that you feel dizzy. So don't do this when you're driving. 5 breaths is enough. Now your nervous system is sort of going like, what's happening now? This feels different. What's next? So now is a good time to do guided meditation. So just relax. And of course, guided meditations are really good to rebuild a new nervous system that responds to happiness, joy, easygoing, love and friendship and all the rest, rather than the fight and flight, freeze and hiding, right? If you have trauma in your body, always hide as well. So alright, so just close your eyes again. You can do one more breath in through your mouth and out through your nose. And just notice the energy behind your eyeballs. We're bringing the energy, we're pulling it in from outside behind our eyeballs. Just relax your shoulders. Think of the color white. The color white has its own healing energy. It's very universal. It's like the universal healing color. And just allow the white to go in that space in the back of your head, behind your eyeballs, like soft mist. Feel that whole area soften and expand. Maybe you can even go out through the back of your head and connect to infinity. Just knowing that there's infinite peace, infinite acceptance, and an ocean of calm. It's like you're dropping into that. So that felt nice. So just come back into your body again, behind your eyes, and travel down your neck into the heart center at the back of your body. It's like we have a heart center there that's resting, it feels restful. And just think of the word generosity. The universe is a generous place, a place of abundance, and your generosity is being rewarded. Just imagine breathing in directly into your heart and out, letting go of sorrow and sadness and heaviness, anything that's pressing down on your heart. And then you drop down into the sacral area and sort of towards the belly button, halfway there. There's a power point where the universe connects, and it's your receiving center. It's very still there. Just think of creating safety and security. You're very safe right now, in this moment of now, being present. Just enjoying sitting in that feeling, being connected to all these power centers towards the back of your being, where the real reality is created from. You can introduce a feeling of safety, or you can travel down with me through your knees and your feet, connecting to the soles of your feet, all the way into the center of Mother Earth, to a point of light, which is again white light or infinite consciousness. Just feel yourself drop into it like your whole neurology. It's very peaceful. It's like a complete absence of struggle and trauma. Just allow your nervous system to reset itself. And just feel an even more sinking into your body and sinking into the center of Mother Earth, where you're really connected now. It's like you're docked into herself. And then after you've rested enough there and you feel really calm, you can bring that earth energy back up through your feet, through your knees, and really feel your whole pelvic area, your hips. That whole area, see it as a container, a bucket that you fill with that energy. When you've finished filling it, you see that it's like a little fountain that keeps bubbling up forever and it keeps overflowing. And this is your life force, your immune system, your new place of safety, and it's rejuvenating your body systems, every cell of your body. You can even just allow your brain to drop into this bucket of watery life force. Give your brain a nice cool feeling, cool and calm, and refreshed. And it just feels so safe to be in your body right now, in this moment, in the present, just pulling all your energies back into your body from wherever they split off, whether it's like past life, your ancestors, future selves, all around you, given away to other people. You just pull all your back energies and fragments back into your body, back into the whole pelvic area. Just welcome everything back in. Just be curious what shows up for you. And your body is doing it already. And then when you finish all of that, you can come back behind your eyes, stay behind your eyes, and just with soft eyes, open them back up into the room. And your whole nervous system feels like it's enjoyed a bit of a different experience, like different to normal. It gets you out of the fight and flight and into living, into prosperity, into abundance, like prosperity means thriving, right? The cells of our body can only be in survival or in thrival. And if you're in survival, you can't be thriving. That's really. So the answer is like what I said before. Do your arms like this often. You can go to sleep like that. You can breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose, but not too much, otherwise you feel dizzy, like 10 breaths at the most. That will instantly recreate a change. And then you can listen to like meditation. There are many meditations for free now online, or you can just lie under a tree, as long as you focus on the downward flow. Because if you focus on leaving your body, you already know how to do that enough, and then anxiety will increase. So I'm a great believer of bringing your energies in, especially if you've been traumatized and life is very chaotic. Bring your energies back into your body, bring them back into the womb space or the power center if you're a man. And if you do that often enough, it's going to really change everything, your body systems, like you'll be able to digest your food better, your friendships improve, your finances improve, because when your cells are thriving, the cells of your body, the external world responds to that as well. So I hope you enjoyed it, you found it helpful. Thanks for spending a bit of time with me again today. If you have any questions, pop them in an email or in a message, or queries, or if you need help, please book in with either Pete or me. Don't keep struggling, because why would you, right? If there's an answer. Go ahead and read my books. They're available online everywhere. Yeah, and then hopefully I'll see you again next week, all being well. If there's a topic you want me to focus on, please also pop it in an email and I'll be able to talk about it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Big hug to you all, and I'll see you next week. Bye.